edition of a short week on the Sportsline Podcast here on CHCH. Appreciate you watching and listening. I'm Bubba O'Neill. Folks, next time you look at a roster of your favorite team, chances are there's someone that got their start from the Hamilton, Halton, and Niagara regions. Today, a rapidly rising star from the Sweet Science. Now, at one time, this Hamilton native was an up-and-comer on the mat as an artistic and aerobic gymnast, yet those inner passions turned her to the Sweet Science. Now, with the backing and leadership of the Steeltown Boxing Club and the Oakville Boxing Academy, Victoria Vergos and her skills moved to the squared circle. And now she's on the national map. Next up, an Olympic medal, maybe an international world title. Let's find out and bring in the junior and youth national champ, Victoria Vergos. Thanks for joining us on the Sportsline Podcast.
Thank you. It's an honor. It's a pleasure to be here. I've been looking forward to it.
Well, you're our first boxer on the podcast. We've covered so many sports, and I've thought to myself, we've got a boxing champ. Like there's so. I'm going to call you the champ every once in a while, if you're okay with that.
Of course.
Okay, so you've got this under-19 World Boxing Championships that are coming up in October, like maybe one of your biggest bouts coming up in Colorado. I mean, all kinds of age groups. But I got to start from the beginning before we get to that.
Okay.
I'm led to believe, and again, just learning about you, that in your days growing up in Hamilton, Hillfield, Strathallan, gymnastics was like, that was your thing first. You were on the mat.
Yeah, so I was around 6 years old. I had a lot of energy, and my parents were like, I think we need to get this under control. So I was brought to World Class Gymnastics, my first gym. And over time, I was like, I really like this. So I transitioned into competitive, had some competitions, the provincials. That was a great foundation for boxing. Like, there was a lot of that helped kind of bring me to where I am now. And after a while, I mean, you grow out of certain things, and it was COVID, and I had started doing some pad work with my dad, who's also a boxing coach. And I was like, you know what, like, I think I really like this. So all of a sudden this is like my new thing, and like, I love it.
And you talked about, you said you had a lot of energy. Like, was this like, so sports was something that, because sports is not for everyone.
No.
I mean, was it a love from the very beginning?
It was. Like, I mean, I've always been the athletic kind. My brother, for example, he's very smart. He's not so much into sports, but he's very smart. He's the smart one of our family. Me, I'm kind of like, I'm smart, but like, I'm more of the athlete. I'm kind of more of like the sport kind. So I've always liked sports since the beginning, and that's always been like what I wanted to do in the future, and has been a part of my goals. You talked about the gymnastics side of you helping you out in boxing. What was that all about? Oh, so much. So from the start, you have to be very disciplined. You have to, because people will know, like, if you're in gymnastics, sometimes sessions go 4 hours long, 6 days a week. And there's a lot of discipline. You have to go even if you don't feel like it. There's like so much you have to do. If you don't want to do it, but like, you have to do it, and it's part of it. And over time, like, you see those results. There's the diet, there's the conditioning. So much that I found is the same in boxing in a different way, but it's all like correlated and connected. And you always have someone pushing you too. That's the biggest part too. You always there's that coach that you need to make happy, you need to make proud, and it gives you that boost, it gives you that push. You talk about boxing, you make this switch. How old were you? 13. So you're 13 years old, and now I'm going to be a boxer. Okay. Yeah, interesting. How did you, what are your friends thinking here, first of all? Always supportive, maybe a little bit unsure on where this rooted from, maybe a little bit like, if that's what you want to do it. I know it's not like the general, like what a 13-year-old girl wants to do. Gymnastics seems kind of like normal or like dance something, which was what I was doing for a while. And I was like, just at one point I was like, wow, like I feel really cool. This gives me a lot of confidence. I feel really cool doing this. I'm like, and then over time I'm like, I think I want to actually do something with this. I think I want to pursue something with this. So I think also the other thing is that it didn't seem normal is what made me kind of more excited about it. I'm like, this is not what like any 13-year-old wants to do. I'm like, like that's like my thing, like I can do it. So like that was a big part of it too.
Well, I love that you just walked right into this. Basically, is that it's not what most 13-year-old girls want to do, right now. And I'm not just saying anything on a guy-girl basis, but the reality is, there's not a lot of girls that think that way in terms of the sport of boxing.
1000%. Yeah.
Did you have any resistance, we'll say, in that sense?
Well, being like brought up in training, I was mostly around boys. There was not really a lot of girls to spar all the time. There wasn't a lot of just easy fights to get. Like it was hard. So at times it did become a bit discouraging, especially looking for matches at like just locally. If you want to have like any on the weekend, or if you want to fight soon, it's not always possible like it is for a boy to have one all the time. So yes, there was some discouraging parts. I'm like, how am I going to get anywhere if I'm not able to fight all the time? This feels so challenging. But you just have to look for those opportunities. For example, the Worlds, the Nationals, the Provincials. And even though it's hard, like you have to just dive into it, and whatever happens. You just need that like experience with it.
How did you get there? Did you just show up somewhere and say, I want to box?
Well, I mean, at first my parents were into it well, my dad was a boxer. Right. My mom does it for fitness sometimes too. And it started off with my dad, because even as a gymnast, like he would talk about it all the time, force me to watch fights. I'm like, I don't even know what I'm watching. I don't know what this is. Like, this is great that you love it.
What era? What was he showing you at the time?
Oh my gosh, everything. Like top ranked matches, just everything. Muhammad Ali, Joe Louis, like all this stuff that
wow.
Yeah. It's still, now I can appreciate it more. But initially I was like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm like, I'm really bored, like I don't know what I'm actually watching here. So after a while, when we started to do some pad work together and work, it all started to kind of click. I'm like, oh, I remember this person he was talking about. I remember this boxer he mentioned, or this punch, this move. And like, it gave me kind of like, wow, like I feel like I'm a part of it now. I feel like I'm a part of it. And it gave me confidence to keep going. And it gave me motivation to like train more and see like how far I can actually go with this.
So your dad is kind of your pseudo manager to start.
Yes.
But then you get into, I guess, Steeltown?
Yeah, Steeltown was a gym of mine for a while, a couple years. Afterwards, well, currently I'm with Oakville Boxing Academy, and all of it plays like a part into where I am now, 1000%. Starting from my garage, getting to here, like it's all like its own little story, and it's good. But yeah, 100%, like it's all important. So
it's all flowing. 2022, big year for you. Provincial Golden Gloves champion.
Yes.
The same year you win the Brampton Cup. You're a champion there. I would presume at this point you're more than just liking what you're doing. You're gaining confidence.
Yes, I see boxing as not only something like I love to do, but I see it as like my job in a sense. Not a job where I'm like, I have to get up and go to work, like nothing like that. I see it as a job where I'm like, wow, like I get to do this every day. Like this is what I actually want to do. And there's so much you can do with it. You can look for sponsors, you can look for people to connect with. It gives a lot of opportunities to do things that are not just in the ring. And that's what I think is one of the best parts of it too. It opens so many doors.
But at this point, you're what, 15?
18.
So you're 18 now?
Yes.
But at this point,
yeah,
you're about 15 years
16,
old.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking of what's going on as a 15-year-old with I don't know, school dances, tests, exams, school, going to the movies. Did you have to sacrifice all this kind of stuff?
I did, and it goes back to gymnastics, because that's another thing that was really important. I learned from a young age that I have to sacrifice, and I can't always be doing the stuff I want to do because I have to go train and I have to go prepare for this competition. So I was used to that. And same with boxing. There's some things I'm like, wow, I wish I could do this, but I have a competition, and to me the competition matters more, so like I'm okay to do that. As a 15-year-old, yeah, I mean, at that point I was like, I want to go far with this, but I don't know how far I'm going to get to it. I wasn't certain. I wasn't like, am I going to go completely in, or just, like half, but over time you have to just like stay committed, and I stayed committed, and I realized I'm like, if this is what I want to do, then everything else has to be sacrificed. So
I guess having family, as you said, that were kind of involved in the sport, that was a huge help in getting
helpful.
you to that next level.
100%. Like it's good because my dad, who also coaches like at my current gym and everything, he's there to help. But at home, if there's something that needs to be discussed, or if there's something that needs to be worked on, that we have to go through, he's always there, and he's a very big asset, and he's very, very helpful when it comes to all of that.
So when you are in this situation of where you are right now, and you're looking for fights, and you're training for fights, and you can type up your name now, and that you're in Google, and that your fight listings are there, your wins, your losses, and I mean, is that something that at this stage, and there's so far to go, that you're kind of feeling pretty good about right now?
Yes, because I mean, for a while that wasn't the case. When I looked at myself, there wasn't anything to see, maybe just like a link to my Instagram, but the point, there was like no boxing on my Instagram. But now like, in the best way possible, I feel like it's a part of me and like my identity, and it's something that like I'm proud of. And knowing that if you go on like BoxRec, or if you just look up your name and you're there, it's a nice feeling. Like, it's reassuring because I know like the work I put in, and that it's paying off.
If I was an opposing manager and I said, okay, and I had my own fighter, how would I prepare my fighter for you?
Oh, now I'm about to reveal everything I do wrong. Well,
or even even if you want to take it the other way, because I'm going to say, because I'm going to prepare my fighter for your strengths. What do you think your strengths are in the ring?
I would say I'm very fluid. I would say I have good speed. The power, maybe it's there. I mean, I wouldn't know. I'd have to ask the people I fight, but that will also come with time too. I just see boxing kind of as like a dance in a sense, something that you have to get into a rhythm. I think I'm very good with rhythm, which also could have stemmed from gymnastics as well. There's routines and dances you have to do with that. So I see myself having a strength with good rhythm, and you have to just be able to flow and go with whatever is going. You have to just adapt quickly. I think I can adapt pretty fast. And yeah, I'd say I'm pretty athletic.
You want to dance, is what you're telling me.
Yes.
You want to dance in that ring.
I do.
You know, when you're looking, and this is just a real honest question for someone that's never been in the ring, and I think there's so many people that are watching or listening to this right now, they've probably shadow boxed in the shower.
Yes.
Maybe they've had a couple of scraps with, their buddies.
Yeah.
But when you are looking, this is different because you're in competition right now. I don't know. I've heard and read stories about other boxers that 5 minutes before a fight that they vomit, right? They're nervous or whatever the case is, even though they're professional. What's that feeling like when, because we see it in your bouts, like you got to take that short little walk from the locker room to the ring, and then you got to look in the eyes of your opponent.
Oh my gosh. It's indescribable. Like, it's something that like you can't match or compare to anything else. That feeling when they're calling your name and you're walking down to meet someone is trying to essentially kick your butt. It's nerve-wracking, but you also have to have like that, I can do this, like I'm here for a reason. Like, I know I signed up for this, so now I have to deal with whatever's about to happen. And even more so, that feeling when there's like that stare off right before. It's like they could be so scared, I could be so scared, but we're not going to let each other know that.
When you're staring, like, okay, we're staring at each other right now.
Yes.
Like that too. Do you sometimes want to crack a smile? Like,
yes.
do you like?
I was explaining to someone at my gym yesterday. Some people take it far. There's weigh-ins and they're looking for their opponent, waiting to just stare them down and try and scare them. I can't always do that because I feel like it's not in my nature. Like, I'll start laughing or something, and I explain that too. Yeah. I'm like, I won't be able to take it serious. But there's that switch once you get in the ring, like, okay, it's go time, it's game time. Afterwards, you can be friends, but even before, like, I'm still focused, but I can't be someone I'm not. I can't pretend like I'm gonna show you I'm about to like demolish you and everything, like, but once we're in the ring, it's different. It's completely different. Other than that, I just try and stay true to who I am and not, or else I'll laugh. Yeah.
Well, and I ask that because I think at this stage of women's boxing, in this country especially, that the community is rather small.
Yes.
So you all must kind of know each other.
100%. We all have probably fought each other a couple times. We know who this person's gonna fight. Like everyone knows each other. Everyone, it's a small community, I'd say.
You recently wrote a line that I just made me think so much on your Instagram about there's beauty in the struggle. And I'm going to take you back to one of your last bouts where you fought, I think, a German opponent, and you lost that bout.
Yep.
We love to win. Everyone loves to win. But sometimes and I've read this time and time from people in the best in all sports, that your biggest learning lessons are the losses.
Yes, that you can't be who you are without losing. There's a lot of people, especially in boxing, they see people with perfect records and they think, I have to be like that. I can't lose or else I don't have a good career or something. But I'll be honest, like some of my favorite fights are some of the ones I've lost. I've had really close matches where, I mean, it doesn't matter on the outcome. Like if you even, like when you lose, like it's such a good, you need it. It doesn't feel good in the moment, but like you take so much from that. One of my favorite fights, it's not actually my favorite performance, but I went to the Continentals in Colombia last year, and the draw, I drew the champion on the first day, and I had lost, and I felt crushed, but after that, like I was a completely different person. Like I'm so thankful that happened because I went on a huge winning streak after that. It just shows like there really is beauty in the struggle, and you have to really hit lows in order to get to highs.
What did it do for you? What did it made you want to work? Like what would it do for you?
Oh, everything. It made me tell myself there has to be a change, and I think that change starts with me. Like you can physically prepare and you can train so hard. You can do all of that right, but what's most important is up here. And at that time, I didn't completely have that, and that was something I knew I had to work on right then and there.
I think you just brought it up right there where I was going, is that boxing, of course we think about the strength, we think about the endurance, but the mental is so incredibly important.
It's so important. It's everything, because like I was saying, you can do all of this training and you can prepare, you can run up Mount Everest, but if you don't believe in what you're doing and you don't believe that it's going to get you somewhere, then it won't.
Well, let's talk about you right now, and we talked about this under-19 World Boxing Championships, 29 countries involved, the ultimate in weight classes, male, female, like this is a bigger stage for you.
Yeah.
Where's your mindset at this point? Because we're about a little over a month off from this event.
Yeah. So the way I see it is it's really big. It's a big opportunity. It's nerve-wracking, of course, but there's a difference between being nervous and being scared, because if you're scared, that's when all those negative feelings kind of come in. If you're nervous, it means you care. And obviously this is something I really care about. And what I have to focus on is giving my best physically and mentally leading up to this, and training as hard as I can, leaving no stone unturned, making sure I have a good diet. Something I always like to do before matches is do things I don't want to do. Like if something makes me uncomfortable, I'm going to do it just for that mental reassurance. If I see something I want to eat, I'm not going to eat it, even if it might be good for me.
Can you help me out on that?
It's just I need to have that reassurance and know going into it that I made myself go through something really hard to get here.
And do you have to shut off the whole world?
Well,
like you've got a personal life, and I guess you're dating, and you've got family, and again friends, and you know. But this is, like you said, this is now one of the most important events of your life.
Yeah. So with the family, with everything that comes with it, I have to see it as help, because they are help. Everyone in my life knows what I'm doing and knows how far I want to take it. So everyone there supports and helps. School, yeah, it might be stressful, like, but you have to keep going with everything. Like, it's just life. Like, there's this tournament. Everything else, though, it still deserves my attention, but temporarily my attention is focused on this Worlds, and after that, cool. But for now, that's my main focus.
You're a university student. Like
Yes.
this is amazing to me that you are finding this balance and being successful in the sense of, you know, like I said, all the things that are going on in your life. I can think of back when I was your age, and man, there was a lot going on, right? Like I'm pretty boring now, but like there was a lot going on at that time. And here you are, you've got studies as well too. Can you just tell everyone what you're doing in terms of the university life?
Yeah, I'm in Brock. I'm studying kinesiology, and I think it relates to what I want to do. Like as I was saying, I'm like the sport kind, and what I'm studying, it obviously is something I want to do in the future. It can be related to boxing. I have a lot of goals with that. When it comes to balance, it's really tricky, but it's doable. I think if there's something you want to do, it's hard, but there's always a way for it to get done. Like if you really have something you want to achieve and you really have goals, then you're going to take whatever path it takes to get there. And whether that's balancing school, family, regular life, boxing, there's a way to do it.
Yeah, I'm sure there's no other people in your class that are doing what you're doing.
I don't know. I don't think so. I have some people to meet still.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I know I kind of buried the lead here, but I did it on purpose here. And you talked about goals. I just want to, like, is there something, you know, that you believe that's within reach, or maybe it's you got to work harder or whatever? What's the end goal?
The end goal with boxing, of course, is, I mean, I have that Olympic dream. That would be a dream come true. I want to go to the Olympics. Otherwise, I'm open to professional. I'm open to staying in it for a long time, whatever that may mean.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a hero? Is there someone you look up to, or?
When it comes to boxers, my favorite boxer is Vasily Lomachenko. He's been my favorite boxer since I can remember. Even when I didn't understand boxing and my dad was showing me all those fights at first, I was like, he's a good athlete. He's a good boxer. When it comes to people I look up to, though, I look up to my parents a lot. And I know it may sound weird, but I would not be where I am without them. And
Sorry.
It's okay. I know everything I have is because of them, and they're just a big motivation for me, and they're people I want to make happy.
Also, I would think there's something or someone in the Oakville Boxing Academy that,
oh my gosh, yeah.
You know, that, you know, if you want to talk about that experience.
Of course. Oakville Boxing Academy is like, it's been one of the best things that have ever happened to me. My coach, Gord, Ryan Young, everyone who is at that gym has just made boxing like so much more happier. And you go through things where sometimes maybe in boxing or anything where it's like you go through lows and you go through highs, but everyone at that gym is just able to bring like that high in me, and they make me remember why I love this sport so much, and they push me in ways, they make me do things I don't think I can actually do until it's done, and I'm like, wow, like thank you, I had no idea I could do that, so like thank you. So they're huge asset.
I admire the way that you communicate, and I think it's fantastic. Especially, I can't believe you're 18 years old. Like, to be quite honest, and I say that in the best way as well too. And furthering that thought is that you've got, again, amongst your busy schedule and everything that you want to do and your dreams and goals, you're out there sort of spreading the wealth and your knowledge by hosting a podcast. Where'd you go with that?
I went through a point where I was listening to a lot of podcasts. It's not something I did before, and I was like, well, I feel like almost anyone can do this if they wanted to. I'm like, why can't I do it too? So my topic is related to like the mental aspect of sport and why it's so important. And I think, like reflecting actually in this moment, I think why I made it is because there was a long time where I didn't realize how important that mental part was and how important your mentality is. So making that podcast and learning things as I was making them as well about myself, and yes, spreading the word, but also learning a lot about myself too was something really important, because I was like, this is something I missed out on for a while, and now it's good that I'm able to talk about it and understand it. So, and then it went into me also interviewing people, which I still have a lot more I need to do for that. I have a lot more I have to get started on, but I'm enjoying it all, and it's like another passion of mine, so I like it.
Mindset matters, right?
Yes.
Mindset
find
matters.
it on Spotify.
Is there someone that you've had on already that you're like, wow, I can't believe I had that person on my show?
Both people, because there was I mean, going back, like it was hard to always like socialize with people for me. Like there was a point when I was younger, I found it hard to be able to like talk to people and not worry and overthink like conversations sometimes. But it came to a point where I was like, there's no harm in it. There's nothing that is gonna go bad. Like there's benefit in interviewing people, in doing podcasts. Like it's doing good things for you. So yeah, I mean, when I did those podcasts, at first I was nervous. I'm like, I don't know if I should do that. What are people going to think? But afterwards, it's like, it's rewarding. It's almost like boxing in a way. It's like, I felt nervous, like I didn't want to do it, but I still did it.
Well, I hope you've opened doors on that aspect for that. I hope that people who are watching and listening to this now become fans of yours, and I think you've made it really easy to become a fan of you at this point of where your career is and what you do. The big event is coming up in the end of October.
Yep.
Colorado. Right? And in the 57 kg class, we're going to be watching Victoria Vergos compete, and I think that is so important to see you, continue to grind it out in your career, and I think you've just grown a whole new fan base. You're outstanding. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you. This was a pleasure.
But before you go, can you give me a good 1-2?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, friends. That's your Sportsline podcast for the day. And as you just seen and heard, we love talking sports with knockout stars like Victoria. Folks, if you do know of an athlete, team, or event to promote, the Sportsline podcast want to hear from you. Please hit the thumbs up, like, and subscribe button, and be sure to check out the other entertaining and informative podcasts we offer, like Newsmakers with Louis Butko and Trending Now. For the talented people that make the Sportsline podcast possible, thank you so very much, and we'll see you next week.